Hi friends, this is Angie under fire again. It's like a tsunami on Twitter and being ganged up again by, well, this time it's Terry Joyce, Naima, Dawn Fagan, Hope Girl, Abraham Christie, and now Stephanie Osteen's come out from under the, well, out of the cobwebs, whatever. And that's fine. I've got used to this. It's not fine. It's bullying. And it's coming to wrong conclusions. I've got my shortcomings and my faults, but to align me with HAMPSTEAD or Ricky Dearman is just beyond tragic. If that's critical thinking and research, there's something not working. But I'm going to release everything I've kept back on HAMPSTEAD. I think of Brian Harvey, who's still, I'm not a pop star fan. He's young enough to be my son, but I do admire him for the way he's kept his sanity, the way he recorded everything and documented everything, the way he's persevered in getting his evidence out and reworking it and reworking it and reworking it until people understand, and the way he's inadvertently retained evidence that has shed light on other cases, not least Andrew Ashe and Bill Maloney, John Wedger, the Ben Fellows, so on and so forth. It's a whole, you never know what you're sitting on. But something I felt with Brian is that he has held back more information, waiting for the right time. And I was really glad to hear him say recently that he doesn't care whether Rupert Murdoch ever pays fair compensation for destroying his life, that he actually now feels that it's freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. And that's how I feel. I'm faced with some choices. I'm sorry if this is rambling, but whatever, you don't pay my rent, you won't come to my funeral, so jog on if it's not for you. But and I will do an MK Ultra show about Mean Girl syndrome because it's programming. But don't mess with a survivor because you have no idea what we've already survived. So if you think coming at us with Mean Girl shit or false accusations, as in Abraham, that pales in comparison to what I've survived in childhood, and any aversion or discomfort people have pales in comparison to what Elisa and Gabriel testified to and are possibly still suffering. So I'll title this, I lost my chain of thought there. So the Coco's Law is due to come into Ireland by Christmas. It's seemingly a very honourable law campaigned for by a very credible woman called Jackie, whose daughter hung herself due to online trolling and bullying and in real life bullying and abuse, violence and so on, which is tragic. It was, the woman is just wonderful, and there's an interview with her on Laura Lewis's channel. However, I do believe that these laws, when the MPs take up a campaigning mother's cause, they're very selective about which causes and cases they take up and turn into law. For instance, the likes of Angela Ray in Ireland and Bridget Scanlon and different people, campaigning for laws, even Gemma O'Doherty, campaigning for righteous laws. No MPs or TDs pick up their cause and give them hearings in the Dáil and bring a law to pass as a priority. That only happens when it suits a different agenda held by the government. And I do believe that just like the Children's Rights Bill was supposedly be, to protect children, actually, no, it was to traffic children, it was to alienate children, it was to take over wardship of children, it was to the government, the state wants to be in charge of our children, and that's just a fact. And Tusla, has hired ex-heads that have been fired for child trafficking in Scotland or in England, and then they've been hired to become the head of TUSLA Social Services, Children's Affairs in Ireland. Our most recent children's minister is great friends, as is Ian Puddick, with Michael Portillo, who advocates, who says he has a friend that, had sex as a 9-year-old boy with a man, a full-grown, 30, 40-year-old man, and didn't suffer any harm from it. Milo, whatever his name, tries to say that, the priest that sodomized him as an altar boy didn't do him any harm, and it was just coincidental that he now identifies as gay. So things are not always as they seem, is the point. And so this law is due to come in by Christmas, and it is possible that if I continue to cover the Hampstead case after this law is in place in Ireland, I could face 5 years in prison or 2,500 fine or both, and be a good example of how to silence journalists and whistleblowers and survivors. So it's very possible that I will once again resign from this case, which I did in May 2018, and then the eBay promo video where Ricky Dearman put his children back in the international arena on camera, with Elisa looking very pregnant and very miserable, and Gabriel looking hyper, possibly drugged, who knows, but very not as you would expect. Ricky Dearman did that to his own children, and then tried to sue me for online harassment when I shared that in a blog. But it's very possible that I'll step down again, not least because the children are now 15 and 14. I have Elisa's socials. I will share them in another video. I'm putting everything out there. I'm no longer holding on to evidence, waiting for the right moment to share it, or hoping for a good detective in the Metropolitan Police to investigate or go undercover. In an ideal world, that would be something I could pass on to John Wedger, if he were as he says he is. But it's just hard to know who, if anybody, around this case, other than the children, is telling the truth. So given that Ella, as much as people are protective of her and admiring of her, and so, and so many other mothers in the same position as her, if I were her, I would be like Samantha Baldwin. I would be making a video every other day from a safe place, from wherever, Spain or wherever. I don't know why the newspapers keep wrongly reporting that both Abraham and Ella are believed to be in Spain. Abraham's very open about living in Morocco, and Abraham and Ella are not together anymore. Where Ella is, I don't know. But the newspapers have a reason for keep describing Ella and Abraham as fugitives on the run, believed to be in Spain. They know exactly where they are. Intelligence services know exactly how to track people, and they don't want to bring them to justice. Well, not justice, bring them to question, because their evidence would be overwhelming in favor of the children. But there are other reasons I suggest why Abraham goes after everybody that has ever tried to help. And I'll read some messages as well. A very astute observation that he knows way too much about Satanism and cults for the average reformed criminal survivor of children's homes, nutritionist and hemp specialist. He knows way too much about cults and Satanism to be uninvolved. I'm not suggesting he's a satanic ritual abuser by any means. I've always maintained he's everything, all sorts of things, which I've lately had the courage to call him, but not that, in my opinion. But Abraham attacks people that try and help the case and calls them agents and tries to expose them, and has, in moments of honesty, said that he couldn't cope with the children. He really is not interested. He couldn't cope with them. He would much rather have a life with Ella where she's making websites and teaching face yoga and educating people about nutrition and veganism and blah, blah, and Abe's introducing them to the wonders of hemp. And given the children's horrors, I don't see how that can take precedence. But most of my argument, and I will do another video called Who is Ella Gariva Draper, because don't shoot the messenger, questions have to be asked. I want to know why she's silent. I just do. But in the meantime, so I'm going to put, because I may well step down again by the end of November, because I don't need to be a sacrificial lamb like so many before me, unnecessarily, when all the adults around the case, most especially Abraham and Ella, are either absent, AWOL, silent, unwilling to address issues and questions, or abusive. And Elisa, Abraham says categorically, I wonder how he knows, that you follow my work. And if you do, sweetheart, even though I remember at 15, I was just, well, it's not about me, but I'm just saying, sweetheart, if you can find any strength whatsoever, you start speaking up for you and your brother. If you can't count on your mother or your father or Abraham or Finbar or Brian Garish or anybody that pretended to be a safe adult to you, Sabine, anybody. I wish I'd known at 15 that if you're being hurt, tell someone, and if they don't listen, keep telling until you find someone who does. And I know that puts your life in danger, but what life is it worth living if you end up like your father, as described by yourself and Gabriel? So let me just get to this. To those, I'm sorry it took me a while, but I'm just very emotional about this and the attacks coming. But the title of this is Wednesdays Are the Busiest Sex Day. And I'm going to show you 2 pieces of evidence that corroborate the children saying that. And I'll show them to you forensically. So take your time and watch these. The first thing I'm going to share is the latest video done by Sean at SGT Report with Wilfred Wong. And I know there are questions to ask there. There's questions about everybody, but let's just stick with the information for now. So we'll start with this, and I'm going to stop it on the part where the children say, and Wednesdays is the busiest sex day. And then I'm going to show you some information to corroborate that.
Into the area of Pizzagate, what we saw happening in Washington, D.C., and an investigation that went into areas of a pizza parlor. I just want to get your thoughts on that. But first, can we talk briefly about the HAMPSTEAD case in the UK? I interviewed the mother, Ella Draper.
We now know that he's been attending school every day and he was abusing children there, together with the teachers, the headmistress, the social services, and whoever were coming to school.
Wednesday is the most busiest day of sex, and today it's Wednesday, and if I was right now on Wednesday in school, they would have done lots and lots of sex to me. And Wednesday is the most sex day, and it's the most busiest day.
I'll come back to that. That's so devastating. I'll come back to that, but you hear that in Gabriel's testimony, and you can hear the testimonies, original testimonies. A lot of them, they're in different places. The legendarycampaign.com, throughtheblack.com, Corey Hamby YouTube channel, 5-hour documentary. They're still out there, and Google are no longer censoring them. Now, I want to share something, but I don't want to share other people's stuff. So let me just see what I'm trying to do to protect people's identity is to send things to myself, and then it's only my own messages that I'm sharing, if you see what I'm saying. Right, so here we go. An image here. Oh, my eyesight's so bad, I'm going to have to look at this on my phone and magnify it. Oh dear, poor Corey Hamby's been hacked on YouTube. That's terrible. Here's the first one, and I'll just magnify it. Okay. All right, so this is Christchurch Primary School from their website. Why is all homework set on a Thursday and due back on a Tuesday? We know that all children and families have very different routines at home. We want to make sure that homework isn't consistently and on the same day each week. Yeah. So that completing the homework can be fitted into families' busy schedules. This particularly helps families with several children in school or children who live between blah, blah, so on. So the point here, and I'll read the next one, is that Hampstead Christchurch School keeps Wednesdays clear. You just heard what Gabriel said. If you want to, you can refer to this as a coincidence. I suggest not. But the homework policy on the website is homework is given on a Thursday, due in on a Tuesday, leaving Wednesdays free and clear. So you can go to their Hampstead Christchurch website and find this still there. I'll also read you, there's another one here as well. Well, I probably got it here as well. So just magnify this and read it. But the bottom line is that oh God, here we go, that's off again. Sorry, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that it lines up with the children saying Wednesdays is the busiest day for sex at school. It may be a coincidence, but that's just curious. Somebody sent that to me. Now, the other thing somebody sent to me quite a while ago, and I was waiting to see if it, I was waiting to see if there was a good detective in London we could find to go undercover and infiltrate and find out about this Wednesday private cinema club. So something else that lines up with the customers that the children said came to the school on Wednesdays and paid daddy £50 each to sodomize or rape the children. With the women using plastic willies and lots of sweets as rewards for the children, which were likely drugs, and so on and so forth. So looked into community events. Now I've forwarded this to myself to protect the identity. Looked into community events, thought if there's so many teachers and parents involved, it's worth a look, and found this advertisement. Red flags went up when I saw, so community events in Hampstead. Right. Found this advertisement. Red flags went up when I saw that it was a monthly event and on a Wednesday. Why Wednesdays? Why not weekends? I seem to remember Gabriel, I think, saying something about Wednesdays being a significant day, which I've just shared. but it would take hours to find that single comment. Do you recall this certain day being mentioned? Now let's look at these pictures. George's Social Cinema is a secret, private film club dedicated to presenting thought-provoking films in a convivial environment. Our programming celebrates classic, cult, and art house films that tend to uncover existential themes. After a champagne, blah, blah, other participants, we encourage informal and open-minded conversations. You can enjoy this intimate and unique filmic experience on the first Wednesday of every month. Guests are welcome to stay on after the movie and socialize with other participants. We encourage informal and open-minded conversations. You can enjoy this intimate and unique champagne reception. Viewers are seated on sofas or armchairs in an inspiring period residence in Hampstead. Ready to embark on a shared cinematic journey. Guests are welcome to stay on after and social. Well, yes. Do you see where I'm going with this? Let me just go back there and continue. Strange, because if it's a cinema, then why do you need to buy a ticket before they tell you the location? Plus, the films tend to be about vampires, blood drinking, and other women, weird, dark storylines. But don't make this info public, please. Just because, now this was a year ago or more, and I've let this person know that I've despaired of finding an honest detective or policeman to feed this kind of intelligence to. So I've got her agreement. So please don't make it public now, because this person who brought this information to me, this research, was even willing to buy out of her own money a hidden camera and try and infiltrate it, or ask me, did I know somebody? But why should members of the public go and infiltrate these possibly satanic, child-abusing, secret society meeting groups? Possibly, remember I said, why should we do that? That's not our job. There should be detectives, police units, and responsible adults that will take these kind of leads and properly investigate them as they are paid to do. Shouting about it seems to get us nowhere. It just alerts the guard dogs and we'll send it underground completely. So we've sat on that for a year, and I'm not going to sit on it anymore. So we've got some photographs now. Everyman Cinema. See, even my dog's a bit agitated. Look at the colour scheme, even though black and red I love. The Everyman in Heath Street, Hampstead. Right. Yeah. Couches and very comfortable and so on and so forth. Somebody might like to pay a visit there. Is it like the Finchley Lido, where it closes, or used to, for private parties on Saturdays? Closes where it will host parties allegedly for transsexuals or the gay community or adults and children. Gabriel and Lisa testified about being systematically abused by adults at Finchley Lido at private party days. Is it the same thing here? Private cinema days, you know? Or do they know after the movie they can call to Hampstead Christchurch School and pay £50 to sodomise or rape a child? Both is rape. Both are rape. Just conjecturing here based on the children's allegations, which were never properly or criminally investigated. The Everyman Cinema in Hampstead. Hampstead private hire. Hollybush Vale. Sue me, do what you want, because I'm giving it everything I've got for the next 6 weeks. And then if there's no breakthrough, I'm stepping down again. And that's not a threat. And I will always do what God tells me to do. But Abraham and Ella, you need to step up. And most especially Ella. And Abraham, you need to stop sabotaging, please, with your crazy theories that I would work with Ricky Dearman or HAMPSTEAD. Are you crazy? Screening room has 80 armchairs, deluxe sofas, blah, blah, blah. This 72-seat intimate screening rooms. Right. Right. So that's that evidence. And I've shown you the children saying Wednesdays, and I've shown you the website, which will probably be taken down, but anybody who wants a screenshot, contact me. But the details on the school website saying homework is from Thursday to Tuesday to fit in with the busy schedules. What have we got here? I'll make this bigger. No, just go smaller with that. Anyway, if anybody wants this more forensically, just contact me. And as I say, I will put out evidence I've sat on and the point I was making was Brian Harvey says he's got things that he hasn't brought forward yet. And I can understand the logic of thinking, well, I need to protect myself, or I need to see if that's relevant, or I need to see if it's worth the backlash I'm going to get. But for me, it feels like all or nothing, just go for bust, you know. I'm just putting everything out there and do with it what you will. And if I do step back and step down again because I'm not willing to go to prison, I will make sure all my work is available to the next person that wants to pick up the gauntlet. And just beware of people like Abraham Christie calling you agents and turning on you and lambasting you and lampooning you, and HAMPSTEAD research destroying you and all the rest of it. You know, I'm not saying these things to put you off. I'm just saying it's not for the faint-hearted, but I'm fully confident. You know, some of the research being brought to me is being brought to me by 25-year-olds who found the work on Reddit, who found the work in and just said, look, I want to work on this. What can I do? How can I help? So I'm no guru. I'm no leader. I've just done my best for more than 5 years, and I'm coming to the end of myself, and I'm putting everything I've got out there. Thank you, Angela Power Disney, Angie Power Disney. God bless, and please pray, and please share. And I will also put a link to the video that Sean of SGT Report and Wilfred Wong, who I have questions with, John Hemming, Belinda McKenzie, politics, solicitors becoming child campaigners. There's some all sorts of question marks, but maybe at this stage, we need to stop examining the messengers to some extent, unless they turn out to be as dark as the people we're pursuing, and listen to the children. Listen to the children's testimony, keep it simple, and follow that. Gabriel said, Wednesdays is the busiest day for sex. The school website says no homework Tuesday nights. Thursdays, Tuesdays are our homework cycle. There's a local private dodgy looking cinema club. Coincidence? Maybe. God bless.